What's good, y'all? You know what time it is? It is a Wednesday night, and once again, it's time for Elevated Vibes on intellectualradio.com. We are an iHeart radio station. To let you guys know, to even jump into this conversation, we're going to tell you what it is in a second. The number to call is 708-223-8953, or you can always hit us up on Facebook Live. Now, today, and as you all could probably tell and know if you're watching us on YouTube or on Facebook Live, I am here with royalty once again. The two kings are here with me. That's right, it is the gatekeeper.
What's going on?
And it is the boss man,
What
Mike
up?
B.
Glad to be back in here.
Yes. And also to let you guys know, Elevated Vibes is now 2 years old. That's right, we are the Terrible Twos, y'all. So we really about to make some mess.
About to throw a tantrum.
All right, today we going to just give y'all a little bit of a taste of everything that, we seeing out there that y'all may be seeing out there through news, social media, you name it. It is coming at you. So I hope y'all ready for this ride, y'all. All right, gentlemen, let's get this started.
Uh-oh.
Oh, yeah. Of course. All right, fellas, your thought on this vaccine mandate, as they're talking about right now, that may be, especially with like the city of Chicago, they're already doing it in, is it New York? For the city workers?
Yeah, city workers, teachers, hospital workers, military just came out saying it's going to mandate the vaccine for the people in the military. All federal government workers have to, be vaccinated. So, yeah, it's happening.
Mm-hmm. Your thoughts real quick.
I
see that smile on your face, so it's gonna be what? Come on with it.
I don't know, man. I think everybody better go back and remember what history taught us and remember the things that they didn't teach us, and see if we can fill in the gaps ourselves, because right now I think everybody's just believing what somebody says and nobody's sitting back thinking about the totality of the situation. People are just saying, oh, you're going to die, somebody's going to die, and what about your kids? But somebody died of a heart failure. Nobody seemed to care. Somebody died of cancer, and they didn't come out with a cure for that. And somebody died of bronchitis. Nobody cared about that. I didn't see the whole world, shaking the boots because of that. But now all of a sudden, we going to die because of this COVID, and everybody got to get a shot. So I just think we got to put our perspectives and our minds back in order. Not saying that it's right or wrong, but I don't think everybody's thinking. I think everybody's just following more so than they are thinking.
So real quick, what to do with those, okay, they're not vaccinated and they come down with COVID, and this Delta variant is much stronger than the first thing, okay?
It's more contagious and tends to be a little bit more deadlier.
Right,
to those people
that's
who
what I
have not
mean.
Yeah.
Right.
Who told us that information?
Well, I'm just saying what they're talking about.
I'm just saying what y'all saying. Who told y'all?
Well, of course.
I'm just trying to figure out, because I want to be as well, I want to be educated too.
Well,
who said?
Of course, it's within the media, within the news
okay.
and so
I just
forth.
was trying to find out who said.
You know what I mean? I'm just, your thoughts on those, okay, you didn't get it, hey, that's your business. I'm not, one of those type of person who's going to attack a person for yay or nay.
Right.
No.
Right.
That is your business. You do what you do. All right? But now you have some hospitals that, of course, they're over capacity. So they have no room for them. So they're pretty much telling them, bye. Your thoughts on that?
Well, it seems like they're controlling the people who are under the government's thumbnail in the first place. So those are the easiest people to control first and mandate that they have to get something right. So I can understand that, and I'm sure the people in the situation can understand that, even though they may try to get out of it by lawyers or by their rights, but they know that they gave that up a long time ago. So as far as people getting COVID who have not been vaccinated, I mean, if I'm not mistaken, Jesse Jackson just got COVID and he had both of his vaccinations.
Right.
So
well, you got the breakthrough. What they said, somebody please correct me because I know I'm probably going to mess it up. But they say that the virus can break through on certain situations.
Okay, you heard what you said. Can.
Yes.
So at the end of the day, they're playing on cans, percentages, what ifs, and at the end of the day, I think it's scaring people to think that they are a can, they are a what if, because they might know somebody, or they might be around somebody, or they might heard some stories. But at the end of the day, nobody's thinking about the people who will never be affected. Or so it's like everybody's putting it, all right, somebody's going to get bit by a lion today, and everybody's like, oh, I'm going to get bit. This is going to be me. Well, hold on. You're not by a lion. You're not in the zoo. So why do you feel like it's going to be you, you know? But then the media, the government plays into that, and then at the end of the day, we end up being somewhat treated like adolescents, right?
Right.
We got one person or a group of people compared to all the people in the world. There's a few people making rules on what we got to do when we have to do it, and then we'll believe in them and saying things like, oh, God gave them the position to be a scientist to give out this information. Well, I know a whole lot of other scientists did some things wrong in the past, so I mean, we just have to start thinking clear. And I'm not saying right or wrong, you do whatever you want to do, but what type of information are we getting? And have we gathered all the information from the past to realize what has been done in the past, so then we can make a clear understanding and thought process to the future? So I'm just saying, I just see a lot of follow the leaders. And anytime you see commercials with, it was one commercial I seen a young black kid on there saying he wanted to get the vaccination. The first thing he said is you all know y'all want to go back to the club. I'm like, wait a minute. You know, I'm like, hold on, that's a trick right there. We're gonna get 1,000 shots in arms with a smile. Like, I don't understand, you know. So it seems like it's something behind that. And it's a lot of people biting the apple. And right now, you know, everybody's going to have something to say, but until it shows itself, right? If your arm fall off in 5 years and they be like, well, everybody who took the shot, we told y'all it wasn't FDA approved at the time, and now that it is, that's not the dosage y'all took. That's the new doses that we got coming out. Then everybody going to be like, what did you do to me? What did you do? Why? Right? But right now, those same people are saying, go get the shot. Save lives. Right? But in America, nobody understands anything until they're in the situation. So there may be some people who are close to COVID situations and they feel a certain way, right? There may be some people who feel different way because of the information that we've gotten in the past and the information that we have today, and they're not combining the two together, right? They're not saying, well, this is what people are saying that's bad and this is what people are saying is good. No, they're just having us rely on a person with a title, a scientist, a governor, right, to make a mandate or to say something, or the FDA. When is it going to be FDA approved? If I'm not mistaken, right, 10, 15 years ago, everybody wasn't so keen on the FDA either. So I just don't get it, man. It sounds like a bunch of constructive chaos. Who's benefiting off of these shots?
Good point. Go ahead.
I better be quiet.
No. I just want to.
Oh no,
I want to. No.
Okay, so who benefited off these shots? Why does it have to be in everybody's arm? Why do they tell us that we need a shot, we need a mask, you need another shot? You don't need a mask after that. Wait, you need a booster. Wait, you might need another shot after that. It's a lot safer than before. They keep using words, adjectives, right, to describe something, but they never give you the true meaning or the true details in between it. And it's a problem. And the problem is, most of all, is that before the awakening, right, of the whole world, some of these things were a conversation in our community. Now, I understand that death and life has become more real than I don't know how it has ever been, but now we have people kind of forgetting the past, right? And if you forget the past, history will repeat itself.
Right.
So I just don't think that people are getting correct information from whoever. I don't think any of us have the correct information because we're all getting given to us. And
right. You only fed a certain amount now. That I agree with.
So 100%. I think at the end of the day, we have to be smart enough to allow everybody to make their own decision, and then be smart enough to realize that something else is going on. Something else is going on, and it may be bigger than us, and we may not know, but you do have a brain, and you can think. And we didn't just come in this world 2 years ago, a year and a half ago when all this started. Nobody wants to use their brain. Everybody's just being followed. I'm out.
I hear you. Quick thoughts there. I see it. See it with you. Come on with it.
I'm going to come at it from the opposite end of the spectrum.
All right.
So there's There's two issues. Do I think everybody should get the vaccine? Yes.
Okay.
Do I have a problem with mandating it? Yeah, I think, yeah, I do. But at the same time, none of us at this table has been affected by polio. None of us at this table have been affected by smallpox. None of our kids will be affected by chickenpox, which I believe was common for all of us
when we came up.
And it's all because of vaccinations. These vaccinations were required, to attend school. You couldn't go to school without making sure your vaccines were up to date.
Mm-hmm.
This situation, I think, there's always a new vaccine, and there's always going to be a new population that has to deal with the newness of it. Like, our kids are the first ones to technically deal with the chickenpox vaccine. They didn't have a vaccine for chickenpox when we were coming up.
No, you just had it, and you were out for what, 2 weeks?
Or 2 weeks.
Right.
It was you kind of wanted it when it was going around because you knew you would be out of school, but you didn't appreciate how bad it was until
once
you got
caught it.
Yeah, and then you had to take the oatmeal baths and put the chamomile lotion on, and your mother cutting your fingernails so you couldn't scratch.
Right.
And you had to wear mitts and all of that stuff so you couldn't scratch. And now we are also, as we are moving into our mid-50s or whatever, at risk now of shingles because we've had chickenpox. Our kids will not know what shingles are because they've never had chickenpox. So there is a balance to be stricken between the public good and the individual freedom. And we have to find what that balance is. And in this case, I think the scales tip in favor of public health just because of the highly communicable nature of this, of this virus, and because of its death rate. We know that the unvaccinated who contact or come into contact with the Delta variant have I think they said 29% chance more fatality than a person who's vaccinated.
But then let me ask you this, couple of things. One, kind of alluding to one thing that I did say, what do you feel about, okay, hospitals are up to par, all right? But there were times that, if I remember right, Pritzker had took over McCormick Place.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
To set up an area.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, this stuff is back. Nobody wants it. We all know that. Okay, why is something like that not set up once again?
Because the idea is
instead
that,
of they're kicking people out the
Illinois is not.
They're not doing it.
Illinois, but Texas has run into issues.
Right.
Texas, Louisiana, Florida,
the southern states.
Well,
pretty much.
Let's call it what it is. Red states.
Hold on. So the southern, and I'm just saying this. I noticed that the southern states have a different way of doing things, and you can almost track how they're doing things. So
okay,
if things are bad there, it's the mindset. Maybe it's that old southern hand that they trying to lay down. Sometimes people benefit out of chaos. You understand what I'm saying?
And part of my issue too,
especially people who are uneducated,
it's the politicalization of it. That's where the real issue. But for the person who was in charge prior to this administration, I'll give you this. I think if it was any other common sense Republican, I know that's an oxymoronic phrase, but if we had a common sense person, I'll even give you Bush. If this had happened under Bush, we would not have seen the politicalization of it. Matter of fact, we would have seen more mobilization because it's like, they treat their politicians, and I shouldn't say they or us, but there is a certain mentality that goes with that Republican camaraderie that says that the political leaders are absolute leaders and absolutely right. And if he had come out, if Bush was still president and come out and said, I'm taking a vaccine, y'all should take it too, it would have been done. And I think the blue states or whatever wouldn't have been as skeptical, and we would have gone with it too. So it's the politicalization.
See the problem? We're talking about if Bush would have done it. We follow. America's following a person.
And that's what I'm saying.
And we looking for a person to guide us and to lead us to what we should do because somebody.
I think that happens more I think that happens more on the right though. I think we are skeptical on the left.
It happens as human beings, and it's because we are even as adults we go back to adolescence because we're looking up to people like the president as if he's somebody because he would say this, and then we're all going to do this. This is a problem in society. We got one person, or we looking up to somebody to tell us what to do. We have our own brains and our own minds, and they got us so conditioned into somebody else who's so-called in a higher position than you, telling you what to do, and it'd be better for the masses of people, even though they say we're all different, right?
Right.
We're all different. We all have different situations, right? But these one couple of gentlemen are going to tell us all what to do and how to do it, and we're gonna follow them.
But what makes
none of this makes sense?
What makes this vaccination political? Like, our parents didn't protest getting polio. Our parents didn't protest us getting smallpox.
Hold on, can I tell you something? No, listen, but let me tell you what they did protest. Being treated badly, that's still happening. They protested, right?
I agree with that. But,
so hold on, listen.
But why? I'm talking uniquely to vaccination. Why is it a political?
I'm talking about to life. I'm talking about to life and to problems in this world. So why are we jumping on a vaccination? Right? When people have been treated wrong in this world for 400 years that people ain't even looking at. But right now we like, you got to get a vaccination. Okay, yes. Well, guess what? The percentages show how many black people die according to some people's hands. Guess what those percentages say? But we worried about the vaccination percentages. There's a million other percentages of how people are dying also, and then nobody want to touch none of those. They're all swept under the rug. But now all of a sudden, it's good for everybody to get a vaccination, and we're going to mandate it. You know what they mandated back in the days? Slavery. Was it good then? But I'm just telling you, some people don't think like this, and I'm just saying something. They mandated slavery back in the days, and guess what else? Just like me and you different, not to put you in this situation, but there were people who said it's not good, and there were people who said it was, right? And at the end of the day, there's 400 years later, there's things still happening from the people who said it was good. So all I'm saying is let's just, no matter what the topic, there are some things that were mandated. I know slavery one of them, right?
Okay.
And I'm just saying that was not a good thing. So I'm just saying today, for me to say you have to wear a white shirt because people are dying over here is not right because they've done that in the past too, and it didn't work out for us.
I can see your point, but I also say that this particular fire right now, dealing with vaccinations, this is the one that's affecting us. And I can see everything that you're saying, but I'm just saying the vaccination, there's something that happened, and it should have never been politicized. I'm speaking uniquely to the part of the
political. It should stay the science.
It should stay the science thing. We never protested getting a smallpox vaccine. I don't even remember protesting the chickenpox. I didn't even know kids got chickenpox vaccines until my wife's like, they vaccinating kids against chickenpox.
Well, why do you think they made it political then?
Because it behooves them. It behooves a certain party to lie.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Because do you think it's because at the end of the day, people don't believe science either? Do you remember me saying the conversation before about Pluto? And they lied, and you were like, no, they just didn't have the information. So what if the politicians got into it because they figured they're the ones, right, in control of the people, right, and they're the ones who want to put their face forward. So that's why they came out. Because truthfully, a certain group of people don't really believe scientists either. So
I can see that. And that's what I'm saying. I believe there was a point when politicians left science stuff up to scientists. There was a point.
But now people are awakened, so they don't believe politicians or science.
And that's why we are having these issues.
Right.
That's why we're seeing these issues. I think once politicians stepped into the areas of science, into the areas of teaching, there was a point. I think it's been acute lately. Like politicians, like what's this dude's name from Kentucky? The guy, not McConnell, the other one.
Rand Paul.
Yeah. He up there questioning Dr. Fauci about scientific facts, and I'm like, dude, you ain't even past 4th grade science. Like the questions you asking don't scientifically make sense.
And you might be right, but do you know all the information behind Fauci? Do you know all the things why he would be asking those questions? And I'm not saying I do, but I'm just saying when people ask certain things, and I'm not going to repeat nothing because I've heard information, but I'm not going to repeat it because I don't know if it's true or not. But I'm just saying.
I'm saying that Paul does not have the contextual nature to question Fauci
Why not?
about science.
See, there we go
because
again.
Paul is not a scientist.
But
He's
hold
not
on,
a
see,
doctor.
there we go.
It's like that's
Hold
like
on,
me
listen.
asking you about, how does a beeper work?
But hold on, wait a minute.
And you work
Hold
at
on.
beepers.
Let me ask you a question.
He doesn't have
Let
the
me ask you a
conceptual
question.
understanding to understand
Let me just ask you this question. So all those scientists did not have the conceptual understanding to know that Pluto was not a planet. So all of them should be fired.
No. They at one point said Pluto.
See, here we go again. Now
Pluto was a planet based on more information.
No.
You got to admit that science evolves. Technology evolves. Technology is a form of science. All of that stuff evolves.
I
We were on a pager.
I think you're riding that middle horse, man, because you can't be both. You can't be telling the truth and a lie at the same time.
No, there's the
gotta be one or the
expansion of
other.
knowledge. At one point, they thought that the Earth was the middle of the universe and the sun revolved around the Earth.
Well, then it's expansion. Well, then guess what? Then you shouldn't
And
be
then
giving
they
information if
found
you
out.
don't know.
But
They're
at
not.
that point, they thought it was true. What I'm saying is science is not a constant. It is always expanding. That's how we get the evolution.
And guess what?
We thought steam
if-
was the fastest
then-
way. Now we know electric. Now we're dealing with
and if we
gas.
if we use that same understanding, right, and communication, then nobody ever lies. It's just a building of understanding. Nobody ever does anything wrong. It's just a learning process. So what you're saying is not true. It's a cover up. Because if I use it in other things in the world, I'm just letting you know, if I use it in other things in the world, that this doesn't go like that. They don't say, well, you know what? He sold drugs. It's a learning process. We're not going to put you in jail. He shot somebody. You know what? It doesn't matter. They don't do those things. So,
Yeah, they do.
No, they don't.
Not for you, but they do it for people who
Well,
don't
then
look
that's
like
a problem.
you.
That's a problem itself. So
They
then
do
we-
it
but-
They do it for others.
They do it for
Okay,
others.
So there we go again. That's what I'm saying. That's the whole problem. But we can't bank on what they do for others and never gets done for us.
I'm saying in
So
the
it
world,
doesn't happen for people.
all I'm saying is that I hear what you're saying, but I'm saying uniquely to the world of science. Technology evolves. Our information about the universe evolves. Once we learn something new, that just means that information is outdated. It doesn't mean that for what we thought at the present time, it was right.
Okay.
But now, based on
So if I
evolving
tell-
information,
So if I tell you today
all
a
of that
pig is a
stuff-
pig today, and then 20 years from now it's a horse, did I tell the truth or was I lying or did I just get more information?
Well, did the pig evolve into a horse? I mean, because at one time,
I don't know. You asking me questions. I just
That's
said if I say
evolution.
this is a pig and 20 years later we find out it's a horse, I'm just asking you, was I lying or was I telling the truth if all the time I knew it was a horse?
but you didn't know all the time it was a
Well,
horse.
of course, you never know what the scientists know. They ain't telling you. Okay, now let's
Well,
next question. 'Cause
well,
this is,
well,
I'm just-
well,
we cannot
well,
act like they're giving us
well.
all the true information. We know these scientists and people in high powers have held back information. They got a place. I won't name the place, but I won't name. But they got gold stacked up to the ceiling. They got books hidden. Stop playing with me. They're not giving us all the information, and for you to act like they are is at the end of the day, riding that thin line between love and hate. Because I'm just saying, let's be honest. They're not. The scientists are not giving us all the correct information. The politicians are not telling us the truth.
I give you the politicians. I think
so
scientists
every
give.
scientist is
I mean,
no.
no
Wait.
system is based on absolutes. No,
absolute what? Truth?
There's
So
no
that's why
absolutes
we
in
accept.
everything.
That's why
So-
we accept lies, and that's why we make lies based on top of lies to accept them from other people, and then we call this a society. You see what I'm saying? Nobody, oh, well, you know what? In this world, we take, we steal, we lie a little bit. It's the American dream. So now I'm going to take, I'm going to steal, I'm going to lie a little bit. And when you tell me it's wrong, I'm going to say, no, it ain't. This is how it works. No, this is all wrong, man. It's wrong. That's why we have a messed up problem. It's called constructive chaos. I'm going to stop talking. Goodness gracious.
We gonna go back to this one here because I see this one is a little fire behind it. I see that, but all right, let's take things a little bit local. Well, it's not really local, but regional. Okay. All right. Both of you gentlemen probably remember when it was a plot for the Michigan governor to get kidnapped, Gretchen Whitmore. One of the people that were plotting to do it, Ty Garvin, he only got 6 years in jail for that plot. Now, we all know if that was somebody else doing something else, it may be a little less than kidnapping.
Do you know the sentencing guidelines? Like, where did he fall on? Because I don't know the sentencing. I don't know what is.
But it's kidnapping. It's a
okay,
plot
so
for
you got
kidnapping. Now, you look at-
kidnapping.
and then from some thoughts of that plot, she wasn't going to be here if they got her, if you know what I mean. You know.
So are you asking if 6 years adequate?
Of course it's not adequate. That's what I'm feeling. But,
I mean,
but
here's
your thought,
my-
because
here's how I respond
my
to that.
thing is, It's kidnapping. Kidnapping, if I remember right, was what, 20 years?
Well, here's the thing.
And
and
you
I'm
tried
also
to kidnap a governor.
here's the thing.
What color is
Our governor, our illustrious governor,
Okay.
a couple of governors ago, Blago talked about doing something.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't do it. He floated the idea. He never even acted on it. He just said, "I got this thing, a golden ticket, and how should I use it?"
They got regular people in jail for doing the same thing.
And he got 15 years.
Right.
He got 15 years for just talking about
Now
floating the
these-
idea of giving away something.
Now, these gentlemen had a plan.
Plan.
And was ready to go.
Guns.
And only one, well, they only prosecuted one right now, Mr. Garvin, and he only got 6 years.
I mean, I ain't gonna lie. That seemed a little light in the tooth
That's
for me.
very light.
That's a
my
little
book.
light in the tooth. If my governor, only talked about it for giving away a seat, and he got 15, and you sitting there and you part of a coalition. I don't even want. What were they? They 1%ers or something?
I don't remember that.
Yeah. Oath
Wait
keepers.
a minute. Now, let me tell you guys something.
Okay, come on with it.
If the judge, right, a person of honor, came up with that decision, then it has to be the right decision, because they were put in that seat to uphold the law and to make sure that we all do the right thing, and they're not there to judge what they want. They're here to judge for the people. So I'm sure, because of his position and his knowledge, and because you're not close to being a judge, you better not say that was not right, because according to what you said 3 minutes ago, you would be wrong.
I'm
You
just
see how
gonna
that
say.
go? You see how things change?
No. I'm just saying it seems a little light.
No, it don't. 'Cause
But I don't know.
the judge made the decision. If that's the decision,
we
he made,
don't
like
know
the
what the-
scientist. The scientist said it was. It was. The judge made the decision. It was. Ain't no little light. It was hard enough. What he wanted to be.
But you
It's
know the
the
thoughts
end.
of some judges. If you don't remember some of the thoughts, just think about Dred Scott.
You know the thoughts of some scientists. If you don't know the thoughts of them, just go and check your history. They don't all tell the truth.
Well,
So I'm just trying to
I'm
make a
just-
comparison so we can start understanding the conversation that we were having before.
I don't know what the factors were that went into the. That's why I was asking.
Okay.
I don't know
No,
what the sentencing
understandable.
guidelines were. I don't know what the prosecutor recommended. I don't know if there were mitigation factors or factors in excess.
He's trying to be
But
a reporter on CBS 2 News.
6
or something.
years
He wanna-
for. I don't know Michigan law, so I can't.
Michigan
expunge
law
on-
is hard.
Yeah,
I'm
but
gonna
I
tell you right
can't.
now.
But all I'm saying is comparatively.
Okay.
When our governor, former governor Blago, spoke about, conspired to, as they said, to give away something, and he didn't even act on it, and he got 15.
Mm-hmm.
In comparison to kidnapping a governor and having the means, opportunity, and availability to do, well, I don't know about opportunity. I mean, she does have, but whatever. 6 years seems kind of light,
Very light.
so.
They didn't do nothing. They was just talking about it. He said, right?
They
Yeah,
was
but
prepared.
They were.
They was prepared.
It-
they had the weapons.
The
and all that.
Blago talked about it with one other person. There were how many of them? Like 10, 12 of
I
them?
think it was 12.
You know,
12
let me
of
just
them, and
say
they
this.
got
we,
6
we have
years.
become a
This
sensitive
one
society.
guy said he got
We have
6
become
years.
too
Everybody
much
Now,
else has
sensitive
some
now is
sense.
he
society
flipping?
sometimes,
Is he
though.
flipping? That's the only way I can
That's-
see.
Maybe that's possible. 'cause
He
was the
must.
first
Well,
one.
yeah, he might be flipping.
He might be flipping.
He
That's
might be
true.
flipping.
Still,
That
still,
might have
that's
been
too
a.
short in my book. That's way too short.
Well, I mean, then that's on the
Flipping or not.
prosecutor. That's on the prosecutor because the prosecutor has to recommend. Now, if the prosecutor says he's a cooperating witness and we need him to testify against other people, that may be a mitigation factor.
That's just, we not okay. Yeah, we doing everything but telling the truth around here, huh?
Yeah.
That's it. We just gonna make it sound nice, huh?
I'm just trying to
No, that's
come up
cool,
with a
that's
plausible
fine. I'm just letting it
explanation.
be known. We gonna just keep on making
That's
it
the
sound
only
nicer.
way
as long
I
as
can
I say
think
that,
about it.
everybody know the truth. Just keep on.
That's all I'm saying. I don't. There's too many unknowns, but based on just what you've said,
Yeah.
6 years seems kind of light. But
Yeah.
unless he's a cooperating witness, then you get a little credit, I guess, for being a cooperating witness. That's the only way I can see
Would
you
it
getting
be
6
that
years.
much? Because that reminds me of only one person, Van Dyke. If you think about it, that reminds me.
8 years?
I think he only got 6.
And he killed somebody. So
Exactly.
I don't know. It just I'm gonna still. Yeah, it seemed light. That's all
Right.
I'm gonna say. It's light. But,
Exactly. All right. Well, we're going to dip into one more thing, and then we're going to take a quick musical break. All right. Proviso West, they the kids are complaining it's too hot in the school and so forth. And as being a big issue. What do you guys' thoughts on that?
What about AC in the schools?
Yes, sir.
Man, it's 2021. We still can't get AC in the schools?
Yeah, but I mean, you got to look at it both ways. I mean, personally, I remember high school when it was summer.
And the window didn't open all the way. You had to it just tilted in.
Right.
Tilted in. You couldn't even put a fan in the window to draw the air in. It tilted in.
You would hope that teacher came with a fan.
You would hope you were by the windows. That's what you used to do. You'd be like, man, I'd love to sit by the windows today. But yeah, you couldn't even put a fan in.
Right.
So and then that was before they had the rotating fans. Remember, they just came in with the box fan. Man, you try to sit in that fan and try to angle it just so And then remember, for the first half of the class, the left side got air, and then the second half of the class, the right side got air.
Exactly.
That was before we got the rotating fans. We only had the box fans. It wasn't no rotating. It was a manual rotation.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I mean, we part of education is comfort.
These kids are not.
I was
rocks.
about to say
these kids are soft.
That's
pillows.
what I was about to ask you. What do y'all feel about that?
So at the end of the day, the
kids are too soft.
These kids are. First of all, they are soft. The second of all, it's our fault because we made them like that, and society controlled them, and then controlled us to thinking that it was okay to make them like that.
Okay.
But it is 2021, right? The school system does have a lot of money. They say they don't, but they should have air conditioning, right? Running buildings, things like that should be a necessity. I mean, that should be like.
I mean, technically, if the law is still like that, the lotto, when you buy some lotto, it's supposed to go to education first.
Listen,
if the law is still like that.
They got money coming from everywhere and going everywhere. I'm just trying to see how come everybody talking about they need some. The school system is one of the places that should definitely have everything that they need, right, for our kids' education, right, so they can, but once again, what is that called then? In a time like this, you got a hot school, right? You got people wanting to mandate shots. People don't want to wear masks. Bunch of chaos and confusion. So, yeah, you don't want to make it comfortable for them.
You need air purifiers.
Oh, you think they got them in there, too? You think they just had the HVAC people come in there and install air purifiers all through the country?
You saying they did?
I'm asking you, do you think they did? I didn't say what they did or not. You think they did?
I mean, I think they did. What's that school district way up north?
I want you to think I'm a Kazillion, so I can maybe that'll happen.
No, the rich one. What's the?
Oh, Oak Brook?
No. Barrington?
No,
Barrington?
the one that's over there by Evanston. What's that school? You know, the one that they always compare everything to. They got everything on the north side.
So you saying
it's gone from the mind right now, bro? It's gone from the mind. I can't think about it at all. I'm trying to figure out which one it is.
They always compare the two schools, and I can't. I'll think about it. But yeah, I'm pretty sure they got purifiers. They got air conditioners. They probably got ceiling fans in the classrooms. And then you think of what is the economic condition of Proviso East, and where is it coming from? And
exactly.
You're taking
20th
century technology and not to update. It just seems
they don't care about Hey, I'm gonna tell you, it's a scapegoat to use the kids for everything and to act like you care about the kids. They don't care about the kids
until it comes to money.
Oh, they don't care then either, because then they taking the money, and then the kids they're like, well, you just get however you get there, however you get lunch, or however you get to school. It don't matter. They just care about the money. Us as people need to start realizing and understanding this. They have good sayings that go for some people, but it don't go for the rest of us. And just because you like the saying and you think it go for you, you need to check yourself and see, does it really benefit you or does it go for you? Because it's a lot of y'all in that bucket and it doesn't benefit you at all. So we need to open our eyes, stop listening to these sayings, and stop wanting to be a part of something that sounds good, and in actuality, it's not helping you at all. They don't care about our kids. They don't care about our kids in the black and brown community. The money is taken and put in other places, right? And we seem to not have a bookkeeper. And then when we try to hold somebody accountable, it's like they throw the system in front of it. Well, you can't hold a system accountable.
Nutria.
Well, technically, Nutria.
Yeah. That was what I was thinking of.
But you can hold the system accountable. You really can.
You can?
Yeah.
What's the name of the system?
What was the school district your family was running for that was on our first show on the show?
Oh, that was District 152 in Harvey.
In Hart, you think they got air purifiers and air conditioners?
I'm sure they do.
This brother can't even answer the question straight. Let's have her back on the show. You think they got air purifiers and air conditioners?
Bruh. There's a lot of other things going on in Harvey right now.
I'm just asking. I'm just saying.
I doubt it. I highly doubt it. I highly doubt it. But, I mean, I could be wrong. So it'd be nice.
What are the chances of you being wrong?
But
it would
put a percentage on that.
It would be a great thing if they did. How about that?
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
I know how to talk around too, like y'all was doing earlier. I can do the same thing.
But what's the percentage that you're wrong? Do you think you mow wrong or do you think you mow right?
Hold on. According to you, ain't no wrong or right. When you get more information, he will assess the situation then.
Yeah, no comment, bro. No comment at all. And I'm not even gonna go for a comment on that one. But real quick, though, you can hold a system accountable, but the whole society has to do it. If they don't do it,
but the whole society don't benefit
because because it's one person holding up that system.
I mean, there's no money in putting air purifiers and air conditioners in schools.
Hell, for the kids and for the HVAC person, yes, it is. And we're paying it. We're paying it in taxes.
But they'll find something else to put that money on.
Hey, I know what they're going to do. Right. But I'm saying we're paying property taxes for schools.
Agreed.
There's no reason why they shouldn't have it, just like we got curb, street signs. Some of us don't, but we got some gravel down there. Okay? So just like they got gravel on the street.
You still mad about that curb?
Just because we got
that's a whole nother story.
That's a whole nother story. I just say, it's like, man, how long these horseshoes going to be in front of your crib, dog?
Trying to tell
it's
you.
going on 2 years. Man, like you might as well just put Christmas decorations on these. But that's a whole nother story.
Right.
We got to do better.
But check it out, y'all. We are going to go to a quick musical break. You can hit us up. Once again, the number is 708-223-8953. Or hit us up on Facebook Live. This is Elevated Vibes.
So soon, out of our hands, out of our control. The decisions we have to make, and the chances we have to take. Even when it's dark, the sun will shine tomorrow. Just give it some time. Just give it some time. Time will show you your way home. Even when I'm there, you're never alone. Why is it good always have to end so soon? Out of our control. We'll be fine tomorrow. We'll be fine tomorrow. Listen, listen. You know the words to say. Look up, just look up, and you're sure to find a way. Time will show you your way home. Even when I'm there, you're never alone. Why is it good always have to end so soon? Out of our hands, out of our control. Out of our control.
All right, we are back. Elevated Vibes, y'all, on intellectualradio.com, iHeart radio station. Once again, you can join the conversation, 708-223-8953. Now, it was a thing going on in social media that my partner just spoke on, and I would like for him to talk about it a little bit more.
So there was a question on some talk show I was going over, and it was talking, within primarily the black community. I should say, I don't know if it necessarily applies to the total black diaspora, but particularly in African-American community. Is there such a thing as light-skin privilege? In other words, are you shown more favoritism being a light-skinned African-American than a darker-skinned African-American? And since I asked this question, I'm going to put
Personally, I say back in the day, yeah, it was. Now, I don't see that as much. Back in the day, you did see the favoritism here and there, and it depended on the situation. It wasn't with everybody. Everybody didn't do it, but there were those who would do something like that.
So are you saying that, using us as an example, I would say I'm on the slightly lighter hue.
Who is us?
I said, using me as an example. Well, we're going to get into that, too. We're going to talk about. So do you think that there's a certain privilege if for someone of my complexion, who I tend to be, I'm not, as darker skinned as you are, versus me? Do you think we get treated the same, or do you think there's certain unique advantages?
Well, like I said, back then,
and define back then.
It depended.
Are you talking about the 70s, 80s?
Well, okay, we're going to say more of the, I would say late 80s, early 90s.
Okay.
I would say that only because that's when I actually paid attention to some of that back then.
Okay.
I would say that would be around the time, and it depended on the person. It depended on the situation, who you was around, because everybody didn't do that. A number of people didn't care, So it really just depended on the situation and the people you were around.
Okay. All right.
Now, I think no. I don't think that happens at all. If I could be wrong. I'm not out and about like I used to be, so I'm pretty much probably wrong.
All right. Gatekeeper?
You got to ask me that question again. I got a whole lot of thoughts in my head.
All right.
Uh-oh.
Because I'm thinking.
Okay.
Do you think that there's a certain advantage or privilege to being a lighter-skinned African-American compared to a darker-skinned African-American?
No, definitely not. Definitely not. Nope. There's no difference.
Okay.
Because let me tell you one thing, it don't matter if you dark skin, light skin, white, brown, or blue, right? At the end of the day, it all depends on the person who you're having communication with, right?
Yep.
So if that person that you're having communication with, let's just say, is ignorant, right? And he says, well, I'm gonna trust the darker guy instead of this guy over here. I don't know about this light skinned guy. Then that's his ignorance. You understand? So that doesn't define him or you, right? Mm-hmm. That defines the person who is in control of
who's making the comment,
or in control of the situation, right? So I don't think at the end of the day, I think what we have gotten away from all these years is that yes, it definitely does benefit the sellout. Yes, it does. That does benefit the sellout.
Can't knock that one, bro.
But no, it does not benefit the light-skinned man in any kind of way, right? Because that's the old school rules that we used to go by, and even in slavery days, right, when the slave master would rape the woman, right, and then they would have children, right, but the child would be able to come in, but he would still be treated badly, right? Still wouldn't given everything. So, right, if you got a piece of black in you, you black, right? So old rules still apply. It's just that new minds have came into ignorance and have separated us. You understand? So at the end of the day, maybe the ignorant person may be given an individual perks here or there based on their own ignorance. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, No. Do light skinned people have it a lot? But no. Not no. I mean, if so, then show me all the light skinned billionaires.
I get that, but what about
or doctors?
Hold on. What about, you know, back then you had a little bit of
paper bag test.
Well, you had. I'm laughing off the paper bag test, but
you know about the paper bag test?
I remember about it.
Yeah. They used to match people. If
right.
you were dark,
if you were darker,
you
were more liable to be on some stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, watch this. Who was they?
Well, this was
no. Who was they?
You know who they is, bro.
Back in the day.
But I was gonna go on the level of.
Not like no politicians or nothing.
No.
Okay, yeah, that. Well, so we're talking about something. So somebody with
right,
and then they turn into politicians. But anyway, yeah. So we're talking about, well, like I said, the person you come in contact with has ignorance.
Exactly.
So then there's the problem.
Right, and then sometimes some things are, how can I say, ingrained in some of those ignorant ones.
And
heads.
Comes to our heads too, and then we think the same thing.
Exactly.
When we go against each other.
Because eventually it's passed around. I mean, if you really look at it, even though you can learn something from everybody.
Right.
All right. So you can learn something from that ignorant individual. All right. And you may take that on. You may not thinking that you are. Mm-hmm. Okay. But you may take a little bit of that on.
Well, and I want to kind of follow up to both of you. And I know we're talking about in terms of ours as males. And I would say, but do you think in terms of the females that there's a preference or a favoritism?
And that's exactly what I was alluding
to when it comes to dark-skinned women versus
Let me clear this up
women.
Just as well. There's ignorance on men and women. Mm-hmm. So if you're an ignorant woman, if you're an ignorant man, if you're an ignorant person in power or in charge of making something happen or in control of something, and you have those thoughts, it's not going to change. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't matter, woman or not. Right? It's just the only thing is the person who's in control of it. If I want to be ignorant right now, right, I'm in control of that. It has nothing to do with anybody else just because I ask a question or I say something. That's my ignorance. That's my ignorance, right? So if I choose to put a white hood on my face right now and say something stupid, right, that means you all have to deal with it, right? But it doesn't define who you are. You get what I'm saying?
I get that, but that's you looking out. But in terms of the majority, like you said, like for men, no. So I'm asking, I guess, the majority for what do you think for women, women of color, there's a, I don't want to say preference for lighter skinned women versus dark skinned women? Because you know there was a movie that came out a couple of years ago that talked about.
It's a taught ignorance.
That I agree.
It's a taught ignorance, and it's like once again, it's the communication and the common sense of a person. If you have intelligence, right, and you know how to think, right, you can brainstorm, you can think of one subject, you can come up with different scenarios. I'm sure you probably don't think like that. No. But if you're closed-minded, you're uneducated, you haven't been through too many things, I'm sure you think a lot of different ways. So we have to attack the problem at where it is. It comes from the ignorance or the lack of understanding or education from that source or from that person, which then spreads on to the rest of us, thinking that we have to be then in control or in line with what they say or what they believe. Well, and at the end of the day, it's individual. This person is ignorant, right? Just like we say about, well, that's just what they say. All white people didn't have slaves, only some. Don't be mad at me, right? Mm-hmm. So it's the same scenario. I'm good at things like trying to open your eyes to different scenarios. So it's the same thing. No, all light-skinned people don't get privilege. No, it's not more. What? No, not at all.
I agree. And I mean, I guess the context, because you remember when Fugees came out, you're a little bit younger, so you probably have been 8th grade. Fugees came out because they came out our freshman, sophomore year of high school. And remember they kept saying Laura Hill was pretty for a dark-skinned woman.
That's who
you
said
remember
now?
That,
who,
right?
remember that?
But now who said? Now who said that? A black man? A black man said, "Man, she's." Or who? Where is this coming from?
I'm trying to remember who did say that. I do.
But it was that was like
it's
took
over
the covers.
But who is saying it's coming from the let's just say the hip hop society, right? That group of people. Those aren't black men.
Not the people running it.
No, exactly. So
No,
the
I'm gonna keep it very
no,
real.
no black man was like, man, she look good for a dark skinned woman.
No, she just looked
Nobody
good.
says that. No black man says that.
No.
That sister right there is beautiful.
Yeah.
Woo! You see all that chocolate. You understand me? Ain't nobody. So that comes from the white man's thinking, putting it on us, and then we're accepting it. Now we're conversating about it.
Well,
that doesn't come from us. Remember how I used to say, like, we? Who is we? I ain't said. I'm not taking anything they done. I didn't say that. We didn't say that. They said that, and then they got us repeating it as for a conversation. Not mean us. I mean the world.
In general.
Thinking that, yes.
In general.
Definitely.
Well, let me ask you this, because you lead me to my next question.
Uh-oh. I'm drowning.
Who's harder on women's appearances, men or other women?
Other women.
Other women.
Man, don't
Wait, hold on. Wait.
Other
Consensus.
women.
What?
Other
What? No, y'all got to disagree. We can't.
Man.
We got. Hold on.
No,
No, we got to disagree.
No, bro.
So,
Oh, bro.
who judges women harder? Men or other women?
Other women. So all y'all sitting in the mirror,
Other
wait.
women.
all y'all sitting in the mirror for 4 hours a day.
The producer shaking his head. Like
Yeah.
that's how he like.
No, it's no. Just know, it's for yourselves. It's not for us. I'm not gonna say we don't care what you look like, but we don't care what you look like. So
Not
you just
to the
sit in
point that disrespectful.
Right.
Like
No,
you either.
I'm just letting them know. Listen, you don't have to sit in that mirror for 2 hours with a towel wrapped around you, with something on your head, and then doing your makeup. You don't have to do it. And guess what? We love you natural. That's what I'm saying. We love you just the way you are.
So when women talk
But so
about
guess-
oppressive standards,
Society-
of beauty
society
so who are they
told
talking
them.
about? Other women? Or are they talking about
They're
us?
talking about society. Listen to me. They're talking about other women, and they're talking about themselves because they ain't asked us.
Because society promotes that. They promote
But
the
we're a
oppressive
society.
thing.
But that's what I'm saying.
But
50%
I'm saying,
of society
is-
ain't doing it. Because like you just said,
Right.
we not. Well, I ain't sitting up there
But
being
guess-
hard on you.
but-
she not listening to us. She's
She-
listening to
what's coming through the TV,
the
what's coming through
soap
all
operas,
that, and
the soap
everything
operas,
else.
the
What's in-
commercials.
I don't even think they got magazines no more. But what's
The
in the
magazines,
magazines?
Black
Facebook.
Black Man's Magazine, page 43. Page 43 of Jet. Page
oh,
43 of Jet.
oh, okay.
That's what you young cats don't know nothing about that. Page 43 of Jet.
Hey.
You got a
He
So
done
that's
got
why
to
I'm
the page.
asking.
on it.
Like they're always talking about the oppressive standards of beauty in the society and the messages. But I think, and don't get me wrong, I know it's 4 males in this room, and all of us seem to be on the one thing we consent on.
Watch
is
this.
that they are harder on themselves than us. So why are you saying that we are oppressive?
Watch this.
On your appearances when it's not us?
Now, wake up tomorrow, all you men out there. Wake up tomorrow. If you do this every day, don't do it. But if you don't do it, wake up tomorrow, put some nice clothes on, put some cologne on, and just go outside. Do something you want to do. I bet you she's going to ask you a million questions. Where you going, how you going, where you doing it, and why you smell like that, and how come you ain't been smelling like that. But it's your cologne. It's 4 men, but you better not put none on. Now, they get up every day, sit in the mirror 2-3 hours. You ain't told them that they need to do it, so why you think they doing it? Because as soon as you put some cologne on and walk out the door, it's a problem. But every day they get up and put their makeup on. So who you think they doing it for? I won't say it. I know they doing it for themselves. I'm just saying they doing it for themselves, and they doing it for society, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because as soon as a man do something for himself, not all women, but most of the time, when a man do something for himself and just decide to, I'm gonna do something, be different. You know,
Right.
it's gonna be a problem. Oh, you're smelling like cool water now, huh? You got smelling like jupe, huh? I know it's old cologne, but
I was gonna say,
I'm just saying, jupe, yeah.
That was available at the scent store in the plaza. That's
Man, hold on.
closed.
That
now.
was that's one of the best smelling colognes. I don't care where it's available.
Where you gonna
now.
find it at right now? Where you finding
I
that?
got a little bit.
All right. Last question. Then.
Come on,
So,
come on.
We always talk about a man out kicking his coverage. You know what I mean, all right? Man out kicking his coverage. That he's with a woman that you just like he out kicked his coverage.
Right.
All right.
Okay.
Can a woman ever out kick her coverage?
I ain't got it covered yet. What that mean? I'll kick your coverage. It's time for you to go. Divorce?
No, bro. All right. If a man is a certain way, and this is what he's talking about. If a man is a certain way and he gets with a woman that, you're like, she's out of his league,
Yeah.
That's what he's talking about, the outkicking of coverage.
The man gets a woman and she's out of his league.
Right.
What was the question?
Can a woman ever outkick her coverage?
Can a woman get a man that's out of her league?
Technically, neither one of them can if you got the right type of, as they would say, words.
True.
You know.
True. But
So technically, no. But go ahead.
But we always talk about. We never talk about. We always usually talk about the man in a 7-Eleven. The man's a 7, she's an 11.
Mm-hmm.
Do we ever talk about it or ever see it in reverse, where you like, oh, or does it happen?
Now, so the man's a 7, the woman's an 11.
Yeah, they call it 7-Eleven.
Most of the time, I've seen that happen because, see, the woman is emotional, so that 7 is giving that woman all the emotion and all the love.
Okay.
And in our eyes, looking back, we're like, man, she an 11, but you never got a chance to talk to her, communicate with her, but that 7 did. It just so happened to be. So that 11 fell in love with him, and you looking at him like, man, why is she with him?
Right.
But he been wine and dine and smooth, and it's all good. But that's why that 11 is with that 7. Now,
But will it ever be reversed?
A man at 11 as 7. I believe so because men have good hearts. You know what I mean? And men don't always look for looks that don't mean everything, or there's more to a man's thought process than.
Okay. And I genuinely don't have an opinion on
it.
this.
It lays on the action.
It
lays on the action. But go ahead.
I put him at his number, but I'm just saying if we was for the sake of
Hypothetically.
understanding,
Right.
Yeah, hypothetically.
Right.
for the sake of understanding,
Depends on that action, man.
Yeah, it's
Real
just-
talk. It's the action is what you about.
yeah. So I don't think men are so much prone to that as maybe.
I honestly don't have an opinion on it. It was just something I thought
I
of.
think people at the end of the day love who they love, and at some point, right? Maybe sometimes they get both at the same time, man. Right?
Okay.
2 10s in a bucket.
Hey, it can happen.
I honestly
It can happen, baby.
I have an opinion. It was just, I felt it was a good question to wrap up with. I know we always talk about, you always say, man, how did he pull? Like we've all been at the clubs. You're like, no, how did he pull her?
Well, I guess the answer to that is treat the person that you're with right.
Plain and
then,
simple.
You both be a 10.
Right.
Other than that, man, ain't nobody going.
I mean, because overall, what you want to be, no matter what you are on, you want to be happy.
Right.
Plain and simple.
I'll just take sane.
Okay.
Well, we talked about this. We talked about peace. That's what we talked about. Peace.
Man, where is it?
Yeah. Well, anyway, this is it for our hour. As I always like to close the show and say, even on your darkest day, you can be a lighthouse for someone else. No matter how dark the storm, how bad it gets, don't ever give up. Keep fighting. Sometimes the fight you're going through ain't even for you. It's because someone else is witnessing you going through the fight, and they're drawing inspiration for you. So always, always be a lighthouse. Never give up. Never give into the darkness. Always strive for the light. This is the Boss Man. It's been a prime, tickling pleasure to be in your ears and elevating you tonight.
I'm tripping on the tickling part. Go ahead, bro.
Man, you know what it is. I mean, at the end of the day, we just got to do right, treat each other better, you know what I'm saying? Use your brain, think about things, do what's best for you, but have the education and the understanding behind it. And don't believe what everybody tell you because of their position or the power that they have, because you have all the power.
Exactly. And I'm going to jump right off of that because that's what it is. We all have the power. No matter, none of us in here are president of the United States, governor, or whatever, but we still.
I'm barely head of the household.
But we still have power. You have power in your words. I'm sorry, bro.
Help.
You got power.
Help.
Peace. You got power in your words and your actions. You definitely do. And what we have to do all together as a society is use that power we get. A lot of times we let it go and let everybody else have it and then wonder, hey, what happened? Well, you didn't use your power. So that's the thing, all right? So, Elevated Vibes, it's the end for today, but we will be back next week. All right? Much love, and we'll catch you then.